AI. They're in our phone, on our computer, on our game consoles. It seems like GS decided to join everyone else in this craziness that is AI. We now have the ability to completely program the auto system in Grand Summoners to our heart's content. Of course, there are some limitations with the system, but for the most part, we can do whatever we want. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how to use this system. I'm going to show you all the ins and outs of it, and we'll even do a test run just to show you kind of how it will actually work in gameplay. So let's talk about how to get to the auto system. The only thing you gotta do is click on the unit, then you see down here it says AI set. You click AI set, then boom, you are ready to customize the auto. And there's a lot of things you can do here. For one, we have up to 10 actions that we can add to Rem or to whatever character that we're currently working on. We can also customize the little logo that we have up here to whatever we want, and you can also rename it. The one thing that I will say though is that this will not actually show up in your equip loadouts, because if you actually go here and you'll see that you can actually save AI sets to equip loadouts, so it won't put the name there, but it will use the logo. So if you want to have multiple AI sets for multiple different things, I would say just make sure you have some type of logo or something so you're able to tell them apart. Let's talk about the real things, right? How to actually get the auto going. You'll see that we have this box with the plus. If you click it, you add a bunch of different actions that are completely empty and do nothing. You can add up to 10 of these like mentioning before, and you can move them around by clicking these arrows here and doing whatever you want. If you click on action, we have skill, arts, true arts, equip one, and equip oneself. Now, the reason why we have equip one and equip oneself is because some equips are targeting equips, you guys know, so maybe you want to just use it on yourself, and if that's the case, then that's why you have equip oneself. I also want to mention too, you can change what equip you use. As you see, it says you use equip of one, but if you ever see this box, that means that you can customize the option. So if you click on the equip one, you see where it says use equip one, use equip two, use equip three. Let's think about what we want to do with Rem. You know, let's say the game plan that I kind of want to go with right now is I want Rem to use her true art whenever she has it. I want her to maybe use her art whenever she's low on HP. I want her to be using her skill. I also need to factor in her using her equips and everything. So let's do it. This is really important because whatever is at the top, the very top, will always be the action that takes priority. Whenever you can fulfill this action, it will be done. So let's say equip one, we want that to be at the very top, but we can even customize this further by clicking on the cogwheel and adding a condition. And we have lots of different conditions here, ladies and gentlemen. We have conditions that are tied to HP, art gauge, skill CT, equip CT, boss break, when the boss's break gauge is at a certain point, whatever wave you're on, after a certain amount of skills have been used, after a certain amount, you guys get the point. So in my case, I want to add a condition to this that is saying, whenever I have this up, I just want this to be used. So when the current wave is 1 or higher, I want this to be used. There we go. If I didn't have a condition set, then what would happen is that the equip will just be used no matter what. I don't need a condition if I don't want one to be there, but if you want a condition to be there just because why not, you absolutely can add one. Same thing with equip 2. Let's go ahead and do that as well, and we'll have this set to just the same thing. We can add a condition, and this one, let's just do wave 1 or higher. Or if you wanted to, let's say you didn't want your Exceeds X, or your second equip in this case, to be popped before your first equip. So what you could do instead is, even though that it is in this order, and since it is in this order, your first equip will always be used first. But let's say you really want to make sure that your second equip was never used before your first equip. Well, you can make that happen by adding a condition and going into equip CT, and then you'll say when the CT of this unit's equip 1 is 10% or less. That means that this will not proc now unless the first equip has been used. And we'll just leave it like that because, I mean, it's perfectly fine for it to be like that. Next, we'll be adding the equip 3. Now this is where the equip 3 will be the 4-star physical, and my 4-star physical I have on her right now is actually an item that gives her an attack buff for about 10 seconds or something. So because it gives her an attack buff, it's going to be helping out her damage. I don't want her to use this until her art gauge is at, let's say, 170 or more, and that's it for the equips. And now we just have to add the other things, which is going to be the art, the true art, and the skill. So let's go ahead and add the skill here, and for this one, the condition will just be whenever it's wave 1 or higher. Just whenever it's up, just use it. Why not? You could actually put the true art here and put the art last, because you may not want to prioritize the art a lot. But in my case, since I do have Rem's true weapon on, I will want to use maybe her art whenever I'm really low on HP. But if I have the true art in this column here, let's say for an example, let's just do it real quick just so I can show you. If I had it like this, what would happen is let's say I had this set to whenever you are at 200 or more art gauge, it can use the art. But what will happen is, even though this is a condition that can be fulfilled if we're at 200 art gauge, it will always use the true art because it's going to prioritize this action over the action that is below it. For us to make sure this is only popped whenever we need the heal on Rem, we're going to be having when this art gauge is 200 or more, and we're going to add another condition that is based off of this unit's HP, and we're going to say we want this to be used when the HP of this unit is at 20% or less. We have all this set up, and we're just gonna add a condition to the true art, and we'll just say that we can use this true art whenever. I don't think we have to add a condition to it. Literally, we could just have this be everywhere, like just when it's on 1 wave or higher. There we go. Like if you have the true art, just use it. And that actually is the entirety of it. That will be our little setup there that we have, and if we actually go try it right now against the takedown battle, you will see that it will work and it'll do it all by itself. Not really much we have to do here, and now the game will just play it on its own. And I think this is going to be really great for people who do a lot of autos and stuff like that, or if you are farming in multiplayer and you really can't play but you still want to make sure that you're doing like some really nice stuff for your team, then you can set up a really nice auto that is going to at least make sure that you're popping equips, making sure that you have as much damage as possible and everything else. As you see here, Rem's going to go off with her true art. It's going to be used every single time she has it. We have the equips coming back up, and yeah, not much else to say here. Whenever she gets low on HP, by the way, keep in mind that if she's low on HP and she's at 200 art gauge, she will actually use her art to heal her. So we'll see that in just a second here. As you see, she's below 200, or she's below the HP threshold. She's at 200 art gauge, and now she's back with her true art. And just like that, look at that. She's going like crazy. Now, one thing to keep in mind here is that you see that our true Exceed would not be popped because our true Rem Morningstar is actually above that 10% threshold. So if we wanted to fix that, the only thing we would have to do is we'll just have to increase the threshold, because maybe the equip CT difference is too much. So the only thing we'll do here to make sure that it always pops is we just go here, we go to equip CT, and we're going to change this to, let's say, about 40% or less will allow you to pop that equip. You see here, everything will work fine now. It should be perfectly a-okay, and we don't have to worry about anything. We can go do whatever, go make a sandwich, go watch a movie, play another game. Now, this makes it to where a lot of units that aren't good on auto are now able to be used on auto because you can just make an AI set for them. You know what? We'll just do it right now. I'll show you kind of how that would work out if you want to do it on a character that isn't known to be good at auto, like Dark Cilia. Dark Cilia is a terrible auto unit, but now we can make this work. So what we'll do here is that after we have whatever we have set at the top that we want, we can have the art here, which is going to be the main way she's going to be stacking. We can go in here to condition, and what we want is that we want this art to be used like about 5 times. And you see here, there's a setting specifically for Dark Cilia, so she can actually work like this. Now, what you'd want to do though at the bottom here for the true art and the art action, you will want to set this to where this is used when it is 5 times or more, or you have this set where it says when this art has been used 5 times or more, and then you will have the art set to where it says when Ancient Blood has been used 4 times or less, or when the art has been used 4 times or less. Because after you get your stacks up to max, you don't want this art to be used pretty much at all anymore. Maybe you do, but you can add a condition for that, you know, later on if you wanted to. So now, once we have that all stacked up, it won't use the art at all unless we somehow lose our Ancient Blood stacks, which isn't possible unless, you know, she dies. And now it will only prioritize the true art. So that's kind of like the way how you have to do it if you want to use it for a character that is a ramping damage dealer. That's like Cilia. Of course, you don't need both of these, by the way. Like I mentioned, you could just have one of these and it should work perfectly fine. But if you want to have both, just cause why not, you can as well. Now moving on to the big ones. This is where it gets kind of confusing because you can make a auto AI comp that is completely based around 4 units and their equipment. So this is an auto comp that I have for Oldius, for an example, and I already did the auto AI for it. So let me run through kind of how I'm doing this. So let's take note of all the equips we have here for all the characters. We have Mav, Duke the Legendary, Geonosphere on the Est. As you see, I have equip 3, which is our Relic Mav. I want this to be used on the last wave, aka the boss wave. The reason why is because I want to make sure that I have as much break as possible. The second equip is that when this equip is below 10% equip CT, I want this equip to be popped. And then for the last one, as you see here, equip 1, we don't want this equip to be popped until our second equip has been popped, which is going to be our Duke the Legendary. We don't want our Geonosphere, which is our first equip, to be popped before Duke the Legendary. And then we don't want to pop our True Art until we're on the last wave. And we have that at the very bottom. She just has equip 1, use on last wave, equip 2, use on wave 1, and equip 3, use on wave 1, because she's literally just here as like a dummy unit. So we look at Forte actually first. And Forte, we want her first equip, which is Nox, to be used on the first wave. We want her third equip to be used on the first wave to full clear it. And then we want her second equip to be used on the first wave and beyond. But as you see, the way how we have it set up is that the first equip and the third equip will pop before the second equip, even though their conditions are all the same. Equip 1 and equip 3 will always pop before equip 2, and then we have it to where her True Art will pop whenever the boss is in break. And if we look at the boy Draken's gonna be the exact same as Forte, but he's on wave 2. So his equips are all about clearing out wave 2. So we have equip 1 set to wave 2 and beyond, equip 2, and equip 3 set to wave 2 and beyond. And the same thing with the True Art. We don't want this to be used until the boss is in break. And if we actually go try it out real quick, now Crest Palace, let's say for an example, we want this to be used in Shrine of Oblivion. We go in here, we have this thing on auto, and you'll see that it's going to work exactly how we planned. It's not going to use S's equips until we get to the boss phase. It's going to use everybody else's equips. So as you see, it's used Flame Stola from Xion, just because, I mean, it's a defense equip. Why not use it? And then there we go. We got the extra damage. We have everything cleared. And now here we are on the finale of this fight, and you'll see it's gonna pop the True Art from Est, and everybody's gonna go crazy. And now, since the boss is in break, it's going to use the True Arts from Draken and Forte. And there you go. It's literally that simple. There's no other way to put it. It's just that easy, man. There's not really a lot to think about, I want to say, when it comes down to doing the auto system. I think there are some things where you're like, why isn't that working? But for the most part, it's just trial and error until you get it right. If anything's not working for you, you know, you can always ask questions, ask people in the community to help out, see if there's something maybe wrong. Maybe you have a condition that isn't working like you think it's going to work, or maybe you have the ordering wrong. Either way, it's pretty much just trial and error until you get it right. I think for the most part, it's very simple for every single character in the game. And I don't think you need to do this with every character in the game, by the way. I think this is mainly going to be used for people who want to auto nuke, or people who want to use these type of ramping damage dealers on auto. Unless you just want to turn GS into a complete auto simulator, which most of us already do, then you probably will do the AI system for everybody. But I would say for the general population, just doing this for like your nuke team or, you know, a few of your units would be perfectly fine. Probably the units you use the most you want to do this for. But yeah, that's gonna be it, man. Of course, if you guys have any more questions about the AI system, or something still feels a little bit confusing, or whatever the case may be, please leave it down below in the comment section. I'll get to them when I can, or you can go into my Discord and ask in there and talk about it. People are going to be helping out with the AI because it is new. It is somewhat confusing, I know, for some people to understand, but I'm telling you, once you understand the system, it's going to be a lifesaver for you. Either way though, man, thank you all again for coming out. It's MirrorWorldP, and last but not least, don't forget to drink water.